Okay, so you want to astral project consciously? Well, I got you. I've been doing this for almost 5.5 years now, and I have mastered it to the point where I literally can do it on demand. It has become so easy and natural for me. I've had hundreds of experiences. I share a lot of that in my private community called Beyond the Veil. I have a lot of exclusive story times, experiences, real encounters that I've had with extraterrestrials, people that have passed over. The astral plane is a plane of existence where you can actually connect with a lot of souls, a lot of beings that aren't here in the physical reality. Not only that, but you actually learn so much and develop spiritually so much from astral projection. I have had so many experiences which I share in my private community Beyond the Veil. If you want to hear actual story times and encounters that I've had with other beings, subscribe to that platform. Okay, so without any more further ado, let's get into the process of how you can consciously astral project. Now, the first things first, the reason I actually make these videos is because if you're gonna do it, I want you to do it the right way, and I want you to be safe while you're doing it. Because astral projection, with anything, there's dangers to it. So if I can do my part in guiding you the correct way that has enabled me to do thousands of projections safely, gather knowledge, gather wisdom, and come back to my human life and incorporate it, then I'm happy. And if you have any questions, check out my website. I do offer mentoring and a few things here and there that may help you and assist you on this journey. But for now, I want you to enjoy this video, take notes, and happy astral projecting. You want to astral project, right? Astral projection is essentially your consciousness, a fragment of your soul, projecting outside of your physical body and into the astral plane of existence. Now, there are many different planes of existence, but for the context of this video, we're going to be focusing on the astral plane. In the astral plane, you have an astral body, right? And that you're going to be working and operating with the astral body, your astral eyes, your astral everything, right? This is you astral projecting, so it's not going to feel like the human experience that you have. You're not going to have the same vision, you're not going to have the same hearing, you're not going to have the same sensations, the same feeling, and the same movement, right? If you want to astral project, you need to be super clear about why you're doing it, right? There are so many people that go into this and just do it because they want a quick fix or solution, or they want to use it for some gain or benefit. I'm telling you right now, the astral plane has literally force fields on it that you won't even reach it. You will not reach it consciously if you're operating out of the wrong energy. Energy is huge. This is you utilizing your energy. This is you honing into your energy. So you need to get your energy right first. And that starts with being intentional about the process. So you need to set your intentions, okay? And this is through meditation. So before you even get into meditation, I want you to write down your intention for this, okay? So I intend on astral projecting. What is the reason? Why are you doing this? Figure that out first, because if you go into this with no direction, you won't make progress, or you'll end up having an experience or something happen that isn't aligned and you will feel confused. The most common thing I get is people saying, I experienced this happened, I'm so confused, because they're not being intentional about the experience. You need to be intentional. You need to figure out why you're doing this. Is it for spiritual growth? Is it for connection? Is it for evolving? Why are you doing this, right? The people that are successful at astral projection are very clear on this. They know what they're doing, they know why they're doing it, and that is why they have very clear experiences. If you want a clear experience, you need to have a clear field, right? Write down why you're doing this. Figure out why you're doing this, first of all. For me, my first astral projection was a completely spontaneous experience. When I had my first astral projection, which I speak about in my community, I didn't know what it was, I didn't know what was happening, but it happened and I learned from it, and from there I built on it. And then I was able to master the process through practice and meditation. So figure out your why, and then I want you to figure out what your story is about it, because there is so much information on social media and stories and things like that. So you may have a preconceived idea of what you expect, or a preconceived idea of what you're going to get out of this. And I want you to get clear on what your story is, because if you have a story and limiting beliefs around this process and think that it's evil, you think that bad things happen, or you'll get sleep paralysis, or you attract things. And so if you have these limiting stories about astral projection, you're gonna find there's more resistance and there's a less likelihood that you're actually gonna be able to astral project. Reframing your story around it is so important, along with the intention. If you believe that this is possible for you, if you believe that you are going to benefit from this, if you believe that this is a part of your mission and this is playing its role, you're going to find it easier to do it. But if you have this eerie fear, negative story around it, you're going to find resistance because your soul, your consciousness is going to protect your human avatar from delving into these realms of existence. So get your story clear and get your intention clear so that your energy is clear, so that you don't create unnecessary resistance, because getting to the astral plane is hard enough. You don't need your human avatar to make it even harder with stories and limitations and unsure of why you're doing this. So figure those things out first. When you figure this out, you kind of set yourself up to have a path and to follow that path. If you don't have a path or plan and you're just mucking around, you're not going to get the outcome that you want. You're going to feel confused, you're going to feel lost, you're not going to feel good about it, therefore you're not going to want to do it. Therefore you may not be, if you're not meant to do it, you won't do it. But if you want to do it, you need to have a path and you need to set yourself up. So this creates a path for you. Let's get into the meditation process after you've done these things. Meditation is the best way to astral project. Let's be real. A lot of people astral project through sleep paralysis. It kind of opens up a gateway where they don't have to try as hard, because when you're in sleep paralysis, your body is asleep but your mind's awake. That's the perfect combo that you need to astral project. The only thing is, sleep paralysis is a very low vibration, and the astral plane is operating on vibration. So if you are projecting out of that low vibration in sleep paralysis and taking advantage of that state, then you are probably going to project into a lower frequency place on the astral where you won't have the most pleasant experience. And this is where people always say, oh, I had this negative experience, it was so scary, all these things, because they're going about it wrong. They're not setting themselves up clearly. They're not setting themselves up in a good vibration, and they're just willy-nilly going through this and then questioning why it was bad. If you follow these steps, if you follow this procedure, you will have a pleasant experience. If you take shortcuts, if you take the easy way, you probably won't, and you'll probably find yourself having a weird experience, right? We don't want that. I think that if you are doing this in a lower vibration, that you're wasting your time completely. Okay, because you're not going to get anything out of it. You're going to feel scared, you're going to feel yucky, you can even attract things, it's just not worth it. There's nothing there for you. So the best way to do this is consciously through meditation, because then you have full control over everything. You set yourself up in a really good vibration, you set yourself up with a clear path, therefore you get the result that you want. I want you to find your best time for meditation. Okay, now the time that you do is different and varies for everyone. You have to be the perfect combo of a little bit tired, but not tired enough to actually fall asleep. If you are super, super tired and you do this, you will probably just fall asleep, and people get frustrated with themselves because they're like, oh, I keep falling asleep. That's not the time for you then. So finding that perfect balance. For me personally, it was in the afternoons after I'd finished work, where I wasn't tired enough to go to sleep for the day, but I was tired after working. So I would find that sweet spot. Find the sweet spot for you. Okay, that could be morning, could be night. Trial a few different times and see what really works for you. So after you find the perfect time, you want to find the perfect frequency. So for me, I've always used, and I always recommend, a 4 Hertz pure tone theta wave. TH, theta wave. So this helps put your mind to sleep, but not so you're fully asleep. You're still awake, but asleep at the same time. So finding that balance, right? So I listen to this frequency. It is a very baseline frequency. There's no jingles, there's no anything like that, because that can actually disrupt your focus, your concentrate, and you don't want to be interrupted, because anything in this physical world that comes in will pull you out of the experience. So get rid of all distractions. Don't have any thing that can wake you up, disturb you, anything like that. Perfect time, perfect place, perfect frequency, and lay down. Okay, I don't like to meditate sitting up. I don't like to astral project sitting up. I find it's really difficult. I find it's really distracting. So when you lay down, you don't need to focus on your body, because you are relaxed, you are comfortable, you're not using any muscles, you are literally just laying down. So when you lay down, it's important that you block out all of your physical senses, okay, because you're going to be using your astral senses, you're going to be using your astral eyes, your astral ears. So you want to limit your human senses as much as possible to reduce the chances of you being distracted by a human sense, right? So I use a block out eye mask. You can just buy any from any shop, it doesn't really matter, and block out headphones to kind of zone out as much sound as you can possibly do. And when you start to lay down and you're listening to your 4 Hertz pure tone theta wave and you have your senses blocked out, You want to go over your intention briefly, okay? Go over your story, tell yourself that story, remind yourself of who you are. Self-talk is actually really important with this stuff. If you are in your meditation and you are telling yourself, I am powerful, I'm a limitless being, I am light, I am a good vibe, whatever it is that you want to say, your cells, your soul's listening to this. So you are raising your vibration by doing it and saying it with integrity. Like, you're not just sitting there and being like, I am powerful. Like, no, you're saying, I am powerful. Okay, say it like you mean it, because then you will believe it. And this raises your vibration, so it's easier for you to actually separate. Lay down, go over your intention, go over your story, tell yourself the affirmation, and also go into your grounding and protection. Now, I always say the best protection is knowing yourself. When you know yourself, you know when something isn't you, you know when something is not the best vibration, because you're so familiar with your own energy. So get to know your own vibration, get to know what's you, what's not you, all that good stuff. And when you do this, you literally already create that field of protection. Now, of course, there's other things that you can do, such as visualizing a white light around you, sealing your energy field, sealing your aura. You can visualize roots from the ground going up and holding your body and really grounding you to the earth, and doing affirmations like, I am protected, I am guided, this is for the highest good and highest vibration. There's so many things that you can do, and it's important not to box it in by what I'm telling you, but rather find what works for you. Regardless, you must be protecting yourself, okay? So as long as you know yourself and then you have your practice, it is okay, okay? Intention, story, grounding, protection, those four together is like the highest vibration that you could be doing this practice. When you're in the zone, you've gone over all the groundwork, okay? All the basics, you've set your foundations, and you are just listening to your music. I want you to start doing some breath work. Breath work charges you up. Breathwork activates your different bodies, and it zones out the human self so that you can feel into your other bodies. So you can feel into your energetic body, you can feel into your ethereal body, you can feel into your astral body. All the bodies that we have like 7 different bodies, you can feel into them, and you kind of zone out the human. So something that I recommend is looking into Wim Hof. He does the rounds, he does the deep inhale, exhale in a wave. So essentially it's just breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out like a wave. No pause at the top, no pause at bottom. So after you do enough inhale, exhale, when you start to feel sensations in your body, you start to feel vibration, you start to feel tingles, you start to feel maybe some twitches here and there. You then want to hold on inhale and just really focus on the present moment in that inhale, holding as long as you possibly can. Repeating this for a few rounds, you should start to feel maybe hot flushes, again, tingles, vibrations. This is you feeling into your energetic body. It pulls you into the present moment, it pulls you into focus, and it creates a launch pad for you to actually project, right? So some people, it can take a little bit longer. For me, I started doing this, it would take me about 15 minutes. Now it takes me approximately 3 to 4 minutes of this breath work to get to the point that I need to get to project, okay? Now, there's so many methods out there. There's so many astral projection methods out there. And the easiest one, I've done many, the easiest one for me is the rollout method. I don't really like the rope method, and that is essentially one where you're like pulling yourself up with a rope. I don't really like that one. I think it's harder. I think you need like to literally have some sort of astral strength to get yourself out. Whereas if you're rolling out, you don't need to use anything. You can just flop on the floor. Done, right? It doesn't take much. So essentially, I'm going to be stepping you through the rollout method. The rollout method is very simple. It's very easy, but you need to trust yourself and you need to make sure that you feel safe. That's why the story and intention is so important. So you don't create resistance and you don't freak yourself out. The most common thing people say to me is like, oh, but then I got scared. But then something happened and I got scared. Okay, then you need to go understand that fear. Understand that fear so it doesn't control you and doesn't have power over you. If it has power over you, you're going to get scared. Like, this is leaving your body, entering the astral plane is not a human thing. Like, it's so different. Obviously, it's going to be a different experience. It's unknown. You're going to feel fear, but you need to understand the fear so it doesn't control you, right? Then you have so much fun. You can't have fear when doing this, because then that lowers your vibration to fear, and then you attract fear, and then you attract scary things, and you don't want that. The astral plane is the home of all beings, both good and bad. It just depends on the vibration. If you're up here, then you attract things up here. Amazing. Spirit guides, angels, everything like that. If you're down here, you then attract things like down here that are lower vibrational, right? Don't have fear when doing this. You need to trust yourself, right? So going into the rollout method. Okay, so after you do the breath work and stuff, I want you to start to activate that body and intentionally choose to work it out. Because if you've never used this body before, it's time to become familiar with it, okay? After the breath work, you will feel this locked in sensation. You will feel a locked in sensation, right? You will feel like your body has induced a sleep paralysis, although it's not sleep paralysis. You'll feel heavy. You feel like maybe you can't feel your body as much. You'll feel super present. This is a really good indication. When you're in that state, I want you to visualize like your skeleton being covered in light and you learning to move it. So you're not moving your physical body. You can start with your hands. So even though your hand is still, I want you to imagine that you have a light version moving. Okay, so it's moving with it. You know what I mean? And then start moving into your toes, move into your feet, start moving your arms around and creating that separation, because that's what you're doing. You're creating that separation and you're moving your astral body through your mind. Okay, nothing's actually moving. You are still locked in. You feel heavy. You feel like you're in a self-induced sleep paralysis, but you're activating that. As you start to do this and as you start to feel those sensations from the breath work, you will get this number one sign that it is time to roll out. Astral projection comes from the pineal gland having the ability to secrete natural dimethyltryptamine, DMT, the spirit molecule. When this secretes, you have ability to separate. You have ability to project. Okay, that's why after a lot of astral projections or psychic experiences, you can have like a really bad headache because that gland has been operating and it's not used to operating. You want to start to visualize that body rolling out. So it doesn't matter if you have a bedside table, it doesn't matter if there's something next to you that you're going to hit. I want you to give it everything that you've got. Do not move your physical body. Do not try so hard that you start to jolt your body. Just use the light body. Just use the astral body that you have worked out and imagined and start rolling out. Okay, I personally, sometimes I'll just cross my arms and roll out. Sometimes I'll just hold my hands and roll out. It doesn't actually matter. I find it easier to give more energy when my hands are up and not by my side, because if I do that, I just feel like kind of like, you know, I can't do it. So I do this, give it all I got. Start practicing rolling out. Imagine yourself rolling out. Push your energy body out as much as you can. And as you do this and practice it, you may hear, and this is the biggest sign that you're about to separate, is your pineal gland will secrete the DMT, and you'll know it because you will hear it. You will hear it, and it will be the loudest noise that you will ever hear. It is like this alarm that goes off inside your brain, and it is so loud. And as soon as you hear that, it is go, go, go. Roll, roll, roll. Don't stop rolling. Don't stop rolling. You will notice that as you keep going, do not stop, keep going. You will start to notice that things go gray, and this is you separating. And this only happens for a few seconds as you transition into your astral body. You need to trust that process. People get to that point and they pull themselves out of it. They're like, oh, I don't know what was happening. You were separating. You wanted to do this. So why are you afraid? Again, understand the fear so that it doesn't control you. You've worked too hard to just pull yourself out of it. You know what I mean? Especially if you've set yourself up properly, amazing things can happen there. Just like it's happened for me. If I actually told every single experience, which I have this journal, the first date is from 2020 and it has almost every experience that I've ever had on the astral in here. And I share a lot of those story times in my community in private episodes called The Unseen Diaries. You need to understand that as you separate, your senses will go out. You'll go a bit grey for a bit. You will feel heavy. Like you'll feel really heavy and you may be like, oh, I don't know what's happening, things like that. Just trust the process. A few times I've traveled down tunnels, things like that. But in the context of this practice of just getting out, you roll out, you will feel heavy, you will feel like you have no bones, you will feel like a big gummy bear, okay? This is you in your astral body. Your vision will be blurry. Remember, this is like you being a baby again. You've never used these eyes before, you've never used these senses before, you've never used this body before. You're gonna feel like it's really hard to control. You're gonna feel like very sloppy, everything's very blurry. With practice, just like as a kid, it gets stronger, it gets easier, right? But you won't feel as clear the first time, okay? Depending on where you are vibrationally, you're gonna have a different experience. The higher vibe, the better the experience, in my opinion. That is literally all you need to do to get out of body. Like, those are the steps to get out of body. What you do after this is completely up to you. Again, as you create that path, you naturally, your intention sends that signal out. And things with the astral manifest instantly. So if you've set that intention and that story out there to receive a certain something, it will kind of be orchestrated for you. But I think the biggest thing that people struggle with is actually getting out of their body, because there's no point learning how to navigate the realm if you can't even get there. I'm not saying that in like a mean way. I'm just saying like there's no point to go further. I mean, it takes practice, but once you do it once, it's like you break the seal and it's easy from there on. Like the first time is always the hardest. Again, this came to me really naturally. Spirit kind of indicated that this is something that I'm doing in this season of life, and so I've been mastering it over the past 5 years. And you know, I've been shown a lot of things. I've been shown a lot, and a huge weight comes with that because I've seen pretty much everything from this. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.